Networks don't talk about it. Government can't tax it. But sports betting is a $200 billion a year business.
That's a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could open the door for legalized sports betting all across the country.
The Supreme Court is giving the green light for states to determine on their own whether they want to legalize sports gambling.
Tell Donahue his next pick is good for 20 grand, but I need him to guarantee a win, okay? I need a lock.
He's not that fucking good.
No, Tommy, he has to. All right, he has to, or else they're going to kill me. Do you realize this, Tommy? They're going to fucking kill me. I can't afford to gamble anymore. I need a fucking lock.
Hello, everybody. It is November 7th, another episode of Lock Talk. I don't even know if I call them episodes anymore because we're basically streaming exclusively now. Myself here with good old generic man to my right. That's my boy Leppy. We're going to talk a little hockey here in a second. Before we do, I just wanted to go through some house cleaning things. Another week with no Joey. Everybody put all the pressure on him because, when you're getting married, stuff goes crazy. Also, RIP to Joey's Nittany Lions. They did not get it done last week. This week, some house cleaning stuff. Like I said, big things about the app, Lock Talk. You got to get in there. It's been a blast. I've been talking a lot of shit this fall. I did a few articles here over the last few weeks, slowed down on that last weekend, might or might not get to it this weekend. We are going up north with the Packers and the Badgers on a bye. But yeah, man, Leppy, how are we feeling, my brother, up north?
We are doing good, man. No snow yet. Been cooling down, though.
You're going to fucking jinx yourself. For those that don't know, Leppy lives in the UP of Michigan, a.k.a. Canada. For those of you that don't know geography. But yes, this is around that time of year, man, for you guys. Every time there's a little precipitation in the forecast, you got to kind of play it safe a little bit, if you know what I'm saying.
Hey, you remember when we were kids and we'd go trick-or-treating up here?
Buddy, we were just talking about that because we had obviously trick-or-treating all week ago and some
snowsuits, boots, hats, gloves, chucks on. It was the real deal,
Dude, one of my sales guys married a gal that I think it's Iron River, I want to say she's from. And he walked into my dad's office thinking that he'd have a real unique story about his wife, how she used to have to put on her snow pants underneath her Halloween costume. I said, bitch, let me tell you something. But no, very, very good week for us on the program. For those of you that haven't seen, your boy's on absolute fucking fire for whatever reason. I got my teeth kicked in. Actually, I didn't. I felt like I got my teeth kicked in last weekend. Just didn't do a lot of big bets. So it just was like up and down and up and down. But I've been 5-0 each of the last two nights. For those of you that have not followed Maction, shame on you. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. This is where I thrive. 5-0 this week on Maction. Hit a first touchdown for the first time maybe I've ever hit a first touchdown with plus 500. That was great.
You've been a Mac god since 2020.
Buddy, it's one of those things. Sometimes the board just looks clear when you're looking at a shit show like the Mac. It's a beautiful thing. For those that don't watch, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, at least 2 games per night. Next week, we get 3 games. And it's the Midwest in the middle of November and early December. The weather stinks. So yeah, that is a lot of fun. If you don't watch Maction, definitely follow me because you boys I don't toot my own horn very much, but I'm fucking sharp when it comes to the Mac. So let's move right along. The reason we bring Leppy on this program, not just because he has that pretty face that he's not showing on camera, it's because he knows a little bit about puck. Leppy, before we get into some games, give us a little update about some of the names that we mentioned earlier this season and where they sit versus where we talked about it.
Yeah, it's not much of a toss-up anymore. I mean, you look at Nikita Kucherov right now for the MVP running. I mean, I think he's plus 200 or 300.
We talked about how tight that was with McDavid. I mean, it was minus 125, right?
Yeah, I think it was minus 125 to start the season.
Funny how that changes.
Yeah, we got on him at plus 1,800. Some of you guys could have gotten plus 2,000. So, I mean, definitely pays to jump on these things early off, and we'll see how it finishes off. But there's a lot of hockey to still be played. So
there really is. There really is. And for those of you that don't tune in much, hockey is basically just like basketball. They play every night of the week. There's multiple games. There's a million different angles to bet on. I would suggest betting some hockey. It's way more exciting than most of your kind of, background sports. College basketball, I love it to death. Stooley loves it to death. But I think both of us would concede on your average night, NHL hockey is more exciting. Now I can see him smiling in the queue because I don't know if he actually believes that. I don't know if Stooley likes hockey, but for me, I like hits, I like contact, but yeah, Brett, I know we've been struggling trying to get Saturday lines. You can tell that the books have kind of been getting their ass kicked because they are not doing future lines. So let's talk Friday hockey. I know you've got a couple of them that you've been looking at. What do you have tomorrow night that you like?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but my first play of the night is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs money line.
Mhm.
Right now they're at -184. I saw them at -170 yesterday, so that was
Sure.
something I definitely sprinkled on a little bit there. But Wings are just, I mean, I don't know, not much to say about them right now. They're kind of up and down.
Yeah, it's been goofy, and you and I talked about it. I had to stop us pre-stream because I'm like, all right, let's not bitch about the Red Wings too much and eat up what we're going to talk about. But the Red Wings are doing a weird thing right now. Jack Campbell is injured, so you're kind of cycling between two very middle of the road goalies. The last two games, couple of one goal games, but yeah, like you said, man, it's up and down. Red Wings have been tough to put your foot on or put your finger on. And when you're talking Maple Leafs, it's either a really low scoring game or they're winning by 2 to 3 goals. I mean, it's a really, really good team versus an up and coming team at the end of the day. If this game was in Detroit, I think we'd see this Maple Leafs closer to like -135, 150. But being that it is in Toronto, and Toronto historically in Toronto is incredible, I like your angle on that one. What's your second game you like?
I'm actually going to go with the dog here. I'm going to go with the Penguins over the Capitals. Every time these two
Okay.
play, it's always a crazy game when these two play. When you got Ovi and Crosby on the ice, I know they're getting up there in age, but they still got it, and it's always fun watching those two face off. So I'm thinking that Pittsburgh's going to get the better of the Caps there tomorrow night. So we'll
Yeah.
see how that one goes. But I like them at plus money.
Yeah, I like that too. The reason I do like it, and I don't even know if this is something that crossed your radar. So the Penguins right now are down 5-1 against the Hurricanes, which not super surprising. Hurricanes at home are an absolute wagon. Seeing them get beat like this makes me think that they might have been thinking about tomorrow a little bit more than today. Certain guys, I'm looking at ice time. We are sitting 10 to 15% under average as far as ice time goes. So yeah, definitely playing games a certain way versus a game that they're probably loading up for tomorrow, because that's about as much of a rivalry game as it gets. So yeah, love the angles. For those of you that didn't hear that, it is Maple Leafs money line. If you want to get it 1.5, I would strongly suggest if you can get it -1. I don't know if that's something that you see a lot of, Leppy. I am a big fan of the what's called the Asian handicap in the soccer world, but in the hockey world, we just call it laying a goal. But yeah, if you want the Maple Leafs in that one, it's +135 for the -1.5. So awesome. Well, Leppy is going to be busy. I don't know. Do you have enough time to hang around till after all this fun stuff, or you got to go do dad stuff?
I got some stuff I got to attend here, so.
All righty. Well, Leppy's going to go do dad stuff. Appreciate you stopping in, brother. Always good to catch up. And for those of you that need to follow him on, I believe you're on Action still. Is that correct?
Yes, I think my action's like Brett Lepp 18 or something. Had a little bit of a downfall last week, but we were on a pretty hot run for a while. I think
we're steaming up in the NHL.
So we're gonna get that back going. I may have cheated myself a little bit last week, and didn't put enough research into some of my plays, but we're gonna get back on that here. Hunting season's kind of coming to the wind down. Rifle starts next week.
Boys sitting in a stand, smoking pot and laying bets. What more could you ask for with a gun in his hand? America. All right, Lep, appreciate you. I'm gonna get you out of here and get my boy Stooley in. Making a little move here. There he is with the Packer flag in the background. What is
Absolutely.
up, Stooley? What is on your screen right now? I gotta ask. What's on your screen right now?
I may or may not have a ESPN quad box for my Xbox on my TV. So we got 4 college games.
Underrated feative for those that don't know.
Yes. Xbox and Apple TV, the only ones that have it. The Apple TV version sucks. So yeah, perks of having Sexbox.
Yeah, for those of us that think that we have it good with YouTube TV quad box, if you're a college basketball bettor,
Yeah.
And most of your games are probably on ESPN Plus. I almost bought I almost bought an Xbox One. I did sell my Xbox for a quad of wax, but that's a story for another day.
Who hasn't been there?
Yeah, who hasn't been there? Down bad, down up is what it is. Yeah, so you guys know who it is. Stooley was with me all last week on stream. Definitely an interesting one because as much as we can say we were focusing on on football last week, there was definitely something on the horizon that we purposely avoided. I didn't want it to steer off because I know that could have been a 25 extra minute conversation about the future of college basketball. But college basketball is back. Stooley, I know this is kind of your bread and butter. Tell the folks where they can find you and where they will find you later this evening.
You can find me on Twitter at Stooley Picks. We actually had a change of plans. No show tonight, but
no show tonight. All right.
I
get
will
to keep you for longer.
Yeah, we can go as long as we want. I will be on the College Experiences pregame show tomorrow at 6 Eastern. So I'll be doing that. And then I'm sure we'll be having a show either tomorrow night after or Saturday. Generally, we like to throw a little pregame show before the gigantic slate of college games on Saturday. I mean, it's beautiful.
If I could, I'll be honest, I'd be lying if I said I haven't hopped on that stream more than one time at a Chick-fil-A, very hungover on a Saturday morning. So I do highly respect the college experience, fellas. You guys do a great job over there. You, Huff, and all the guys. Big shout out across the board. Let's talk a little college basketball, Stooley. I'm going to let you kind of take the reins on this. For those of you that have been following me, don't get excited that I'm 5-0 on college basketball. It's throwing darts at a board. Stooley knows this early on in the season. We're reading beat reporters. We're reading the Ken Palm rankings, which are not beaten to any sort of form. For people that are betting only off Ken Palm rankings this year, stop. Just stop. At least give yourself the non-conference pool of information before you start using that as an actual tool. But yes, Stooley, I am very eager to hear what you see for the weekend. Obviously, so I talked about it with Lep. One of the nice things about college basketball is there are rankings and there is hype on matchups. So we get lines 2 to 3 days ahead of time. So I'm sure you've got things that you've been looking at throughout the weekend, but I'm interested to see what you've got to touch on. I'm going to hang up and listen and pour myself another glass of tequila.
There we go. Yeah, 100%. I mean, early in the season, the non-conference can be very nice. You get some very lopsided matchups. I mean, Alabama going against Alcorn State or Mississippi Technical College, anything like that, like they'll just run it up on them. But I mean, there are some great matchups that do happen. I mean, I know we got Duke, Kentucky on Tuesday, Houston, Auburn on Saturday, Kansas, North Carolina is actually tomorrow night, and that should be a much better game than Duke or Baylor and Gonzaga the other night. That was that they took him to the woods.
I got to jump on for that one. What the fuck?
Baylor, there's a theory going around and I guess in the college basketball world. Jerome Tang, once he left Baylor, so did Baylor's defense. They've just been an offensive juggernaut. And
I can see that.
Yeah, so I mean, he's gone. Their defense has gone down the shitter. So, but I mean, Baylor, that was just a horrible game. They just got jumped on immediately. Couldn't make anything. It was bad, but yeah. But back to non-conference. I mean, just don't look too much into it. I mean, the Ken Palm, it'll tell you one thing, but the styles of play and everything that will clash from just scheduling different opponents out of conference, this and that, it can vary. So it's kind of more wise to pick and choose your spots. Fade teams that I like to fade teams that come off of big wins on the road. Like they head home feeling themselves a little bit, and then they, kind of get brought down to earth when they have an upset win, which was my theory for Charleston Southern getting to North Florida tonight. And I believe they were down 20. So that's a 0-for-1 angle there. But yeah, it's just a couple of games that I am looking at tomorrow. I am looking at just a little homer pick, maybe a little Green Bay plus 2.5 against.
I'm so happy you talked about it. Let's talk about our sweaty king. How about it?
Dude,
holy shit,
Dougie G, man.
He's going to put a few guys on the radar when it comes. Oh my God, the Bucks are down 4. Sorry. So I have to.
You're good.
But not to turn everything salty. But no, for those that really, obviously you'd have to have your head in the toilet to not hear this. Stooley and I are like balls deep in Doug Gottlieb country when it comes to UWGB. You're talking to a guy that went to multiple UWGB games last year, which there aren't many people in the country that could say that, even students.
Nope.
But
students don't even go half the time.
I'm saying we were sitting right there in the student section leading the chants, and that was during that was an elimination game for the.
Oh, you went to that Milwaukee game?
The Milwaukee game. Well, I had a few buddies that have played for Milwaukee in the past. Cody Wickman from Pulaski, and it was one of those things that's like, I just can't believe both these teams are here. This is a nationally televised game, and it's in Green Bay in that silly little venue, which is nice for GB. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no, you're good.
We need to keep an eye on GB this year, because I am actually, for as much as the memes will kill Doug Gottlieb for all this sweat, the boys played good day one.
Dude, they did.
They played really well. Like I was ready to be number one hater. I'll say it. I didn't think a guy. I didn't think a guy that I could go from that. It's like, all right, so you obviously have the liquid death money coming in, because every single video I see, you're holding a can of liquid death. But what are you going to do? And honestly, he showed you what he can do. He's a guy that watches a lot of fucking hoop, and maybe we don't give guys that watch a lot of fucking hoop a lot of fucking credit.
Yep. Yeah, I will say it's probably a lot easier to go into coaching basketball, being a hoop head, than it is coaching football. Doing that would be my guess. But yeah, I mean, Dougie G, the boys played real well at Oklahoma State. Now, granted, Oklahoma State is not a serious contender or anything
really,
like that,
really good first opponent for them. If I had to get, it's power. Everybody knows them. They're not going to blow you out by 30. They might blow you out by 20, but you hung around. So yeah, no,
they did. I think they lost by like 12. Like they covered.
Yeah, no, they kept it within 15. It was like I said, I was shocked, and you and I both were ready to be haters. And hey, we'll eat crow. I'll eat crow for the fucking UWGB Phoenix. You kidding me?
100%. So I mean, with that being said, I mean they're catching 2.5 at home against St. Thomas of Minnesota tomorrow. Now, the Tommies, I did like riding them last year, but man, I don't know if this line is just crappy or not. But man, you play Oklahoma State that well, and now Dougie G's coming into Green Bay for his first game.
That game is going to be nuts. That game is going to be that building. I've seen it at its wildest. It can get wild in there, because it is like playing in a WIAA Division I gym. Honestly, is what it is. Now nobody's going to understand that reference, but that's the Wisconsin High School Athletic Association. But yeah, right now, I mean, you look at this line at 2.5. It's moved. It opened at 2, moved a little bit out in St. Thomas's favor. St. Thomas, they played one game thus far. It was against a Division II opponent. But yeah, man, Green Bay, I mean, you look at this, 89-76. You knew you weren't going to be able to defend a team with that many athletes. These are two different levels of teams. And the big thing that I did see too, and the one thing that I know, I can't believe I'm saying this. I read the Post Crescent the other day.
You paid for the membership, huh?
No. My father pays for the membership.
Okay,
I grabbed his account so I could follow on some high school football. But, you know, Oklahoma State in that game was 21 of 24 at the free throw line. I mean, talk about a game that's pretty unrealistic. They also out-rebounded them almost 40-20. So GB knows exactly what they need to do in their second game. They need to keep it tight. They need to not, make stupid fouls. And against a team like this, dude, I love that you wanted to talk about this game, because I wanted to talk about this game.
Yeah.
Because like you said, dude, I was also on the Tommies. I don't think we've ever seen a D3 to D1 jump where a team just didn't skip a beat and look competitive against 95% of their opponents. Obviously, they caught one or two, outliers. But no, I think Green Bay right now could see that similar jump that we saw from St. Thomas, to where they're just competitive with everybody. And shit, man, if I was wrong on Doug Gottlieb, again, I'm willing to eat crow for the WGB.
Yeah,
it's an inconsequential team to root for, in my opinion. No, super happy. So you're laying the 2.5 on that one?
Yeah, they're catching 2.5, but I mean, if you look at it too,
2.5, not laying.
Yeah, no, same thing, damn near at this point. I mean,
Right.
if you look at the effective field goal percentage too, Green Bay 36 in the country. Now there's 365 teams, and it looks about 90 or so haven't played yet.
I was going to
Roughly.
say almost, I think I saw the stat this morning. It was something around 70% of teams have played.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure those guys have played, but they're just like D2, like they're not going to track those stats. But
well, and that's
I
the other
mean,
part about it is GB, you know, that's when we're looking at these two teams, brother. I mean, you got a team that played a D2 team. You take that with a grain of salt. I know what I saw for GB against a Power 4 now team, or well, I guess it is still Power 5 in college basketball. But no, I'm absolutely with you. I'm trying to look to see. The only thing that I'm interested to see about how GB does is, are they going to be a tempo team, because it felt tempo adjacent, but it also felt like it was tempo because obviously the team they were playing
got to keep
could
up.
score. Yeah, they could score at will. So I'm interested to see how that is, because I looked at in that game, I looked at the total. It's sitting at 150 right now. Part of me felt like
Implying
that
a
was
little bit
going
of
to be
total or tempo.
I'm thinking the under in that one if I had to lean one way or the other, just because awesome Green Bay came out, did great, but now they're going to face somebody that's like right within, you know, decent percentage points of them. But no, definitely with you. Like Green Bay in that matchup. Anything else?
And I mean, if you think about it,
go ahead.
And if you think about it, Dougie Gottlieb, I mean, the big hoop head he is, he knows you can't play a slow tempo and have a chance. I mean, we've watched Virginia and whoever else, these Charlotte a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
just
man.
play slow as hell. And if you're not going to get stops or scores, you're going to get just obliterated immediately.
Well,
So
and we saw what it can do to teams that are trying to lay the points. I mean, Virginia last night, I was on the other side. I mean, that's one of those games where it was a 16.5 point spread in a total that was like 130. I mean, that's implying that they go off to either a crazy start and just coast, or they leave guys. It just didn't make sense to me. But no, I definitely agree with you.
And
as
the
we
fact
kind
that
of
Tony
move
Bennett
forward.
just left 2-3 weeks ago. I mean,
that was
just when
also,
Tony-
I'd be completely lying to you if that wasn't maybe the main catalyst of how I felt about Virginia going into this season. I wanted to play the under. It was 131. And I was like, what if they just came out and just gunned? Like that would be, and it's funny because I think the Badger football team fucked me up in that way, because they went from, oh, we're going to run the football on every single play to, oh, we're going to run the air raid. But it's not actually
with
the air
Tyler
raid.
Van Dyke and
exactly.
Okay.
So,
Anyway,
well, that might be actually a good transition. You got anything else for college basketball to talk about before we jump to college football?
Yeah, tomorrow. I mean, I haven't
go.
gone through the entire slate, but my favorite play tomorrow is going to be VCU minus 9.5 against Boston College. I can already tell you that much. VCU getting 3 of their top scorers back. Shoga is also back. He's huge. He does everything for them. They also got Philip Russell from UT Arlington. 15 points a game, 2 boards, and 4.5 assists a game. So you're going to have a guy that can dispense the ball to your scores. I mean, that's just going to add another element to this team. Boston College lost everybody. Quentin Post went to Golden State. He got drafted. Jane Zachary's gone. They lost everyone. So they're 306th out of 360 some teams in returning production. Their top player averages 5 points a game for the returning guy, and 10 total games of returning players, and 7 of them was from one guy. So they're fresh. They're pretty much brand new. So I love VCU.
That's a big indictment on the transfer portal. What the fuck are you guys doing? Like, if you don't have anybody that's returning that scored points, go grab somebody in D2 that can go get you a bucket. Like, sorry, not again.
No, you're good. Some coaches just don't understand that. They're like, oh no, we can take these freshmen or like this 2-star, 3-star guy.
It's an ego thing. I think these coaches need to absolutely kill their ego when it comes, and college football is a little bit different because, and we talked about it, football from a team standpoint, you can mold them. You got 12 to 15 guys in basketball.
Yep.
And the odds are, out of your 12 to 15 guys, half of them, they don't like you. I mean, just out of what it
is what it
young
is.
People don't like old people. You and I are not that removed from that that way of thinking, being that we're both like 30-ish. It's one of those things that I do worry about when it comes to the basketball recruiting versus football, is that it is so much of a narrower thing. You have to make 12 guys play Because when you have 11 on the field and everybody's like, okay, and from a guy that grew up playing football, team, you need all 11 guys. No, you don't. You need 9 to 8, and maybe sometimes 7 if you fill it up. College basketball is not like the NBA where you can roll out 3 all pros and bring in a bunch of guys. You need guys that can be that. You need a 20-point scorer. You need probably another guy that's close to 20. You need 2 guys that are sitting around 10, and then you got another guy that can fuck around and get you a bunch of rebounds. Like there is more of a structure in college basketball that I think people realize. There is definitely a blueprint, and I think it comes down to common sense. And that's where Doug Gottlieb, not to say it again, it's a guy that's watched a lot of ball that probably feels the common sense aspect where he doesn't feel the pressure of other coaches being in his ear about how he needs to run his program.
His pressure was just people on Twitter just giving him shit for the hire.
Which is as we just found out from the election, the least amount of pressure that anybody could ever fear. Like, what are we even talking about? Like, you didn't see people go on FS1 and be like, well, Doug Gottlieb's going to flop as the coach of GB. They were just like, yeah, this is a guy that knows ball. It's a guy that has a lot of respect in the industry. He's probably going to pull more recruits than any other random coach that GB was going to, because, hey, Sonny was great. We loved Sonny. We knew this was a stepping stone for him. I mean, at the end of the day,
I was hoping one more year, him or Noah. I knew Noah was going to go.
One year is kind of fucking crazy, but they did strike gold with the way that they played through basically all of February and then into early March. But no, I think this is a thing where Gottlieb's not going anywhere. I don't think he feels the pull to go somewhere because the money to him. He's running the fucking Daily Show. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's not as big of a thing, not again to tie it back to GB, but I think when you look at football versus basketball, I just feel like basketball, you only have a small amount of people that you can influence, where as long as and it's like like the vote again, as long as I got 70% of this football team, I still got fucking 40 dudes, 50 dudes that are on my side.
Yep.
Whereas there's just not that kind of love for basketball. Anything else on Friday? Saturday, I didn't really look at the schedule Saturday. Who do we got?
I haven't gotten that far yet either.
Sure.
Again, haven't looked at everything Saturday. I can tell you this, more than likely I'll be on Cincinnati over Morehead State. Morehead State is god awful. Cincinnati's going to bully the shit out of them, especially at home on Friday night. So don't be afraid of that 28. Alabama, Arkansas State, they don't have team totals listed, but Alabama's probably just in a race to 100. So, I mean, if their team totals around 90, 92, no problem with that. And then I guess the big game would be, where is that? The Kansas, North Carolina.
This is the one I've been very interested because as somebody that loves college basketball, reads all the college basketball previews, but doesn't watch a ton of early season college basketball, it feels like a game that's probably receiving too much hype for a game that's probably going to be sloppy, probably going to see a lot of turnovers.
1000%.
And we've seen this. We see this every single year. They used to play these games on aircraft carriers, Trevor.
I know.
That's the crazy shit. They used to know that these games. They used to know that these games were going to be bad. So like, well, fuck it. Let's just put it on an aircraft carrier, and everyone won't care that we're playing bad basketball. So like, these are the games that I'm super excited about. But I just also at the time, Kyle Hamilton down. That's not a good spot for the Ravens. Ooh, that was ugly.
It's a big loss.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is, racism's dead. Mike Gesicki just put him on skates. Oh, never mind. Joe Burrow put him on skates with a pump fake. That's crazy. All right. Anyways, back to what we were talking about when it comes to college basketball. It is the matchup of the weekend. I have to know.
No. I'm going to pause you there. Houston Auburn on Saturday is the game of the weekend.
Fair enough.
That is
fair enough.
Probably an under game. The interior defense on both of those teams are top in the country. It's going to be tough to score.
Nope.
North Carolina, Kansas, though, probably going to lay the 8 with Kansas. They have the size advantage. I believe if this is not a neutral, Kansas does not lose at home, because this is probably a pretty decently public side. But I mean, if we get out towards 9 or 10 with North Carolina, that's probably a nice buyback point. But Kansas 8's probably the most I'd lay, to be honest. But they have a size advantage inside. They've got dudes everywhere. North Carolina, struggled with Elon. They were like up 5 down late in that game. They managed to somehow close it. I think they closed on like a 21-5 run. So I mean, like, and Green Bay just went to 3.5. So something to look.
So question for you on this. We talk about a few different teams here. So North Carolina, I equate them, and now this is very reactionary. We're super early in the season again. We don't want to read too much into it.
Nope.
North Carolina and Gonzaga, they're one bad recruiting class away from being right back to, middle to high tier. And for Gonzaga, you can't afford to be middle to high tier.
No. As long as Gonzaga keeps up what they're doing, and Mark Fuse there, I don't think they'll ever have an issue with recruiting. I don't think that'll ever be an issue. I mean, if they start to flare out here and they're not getting to the Sweet 16 every year like they do, maybe some of the transfers.
That's the thing, man. It's the margin of error. It's so low, like it's so tight, and that's the thing too with Gonzaga and the talks of them with the Pac-12. Or the big, what is it called now?
I think the Pac-12 is coming back.
It is going to be the Pac-12 for basketball.
Yeah, it's not back yet, but I'm pretty positive it's coming.
But at the same time, like you don't have margin for error. You can't go on national TV and not look great, because national perception, as much as we hate to say it, when it comes to college basketball, it's not. Stooley and I will quad box ESPN Plus games. Unfortunately, 95% of the country is not going to do that.
Nope.
95% of the country is
not watching.
Yeah, they're not going to watch the game that's not on ESPN. They're not going to watch the FS1 game even, and that's usually a pretty good Big East game. They're only going to watch what's on ESPN.
Yep.
And that's where college basketball, it's such a perception toilet, in my opinion. Which sucks for such a beautiful game that you and I both absolutely love to death. This is the time of year where we probably both get the most excited. We've got football, we've got basketball, baseball's done, so we're probably equally excited about that being done.
But this is
one of those. Yeah, exactly. So this is the time of year that we live for. But college basketball, I think the biggest thing that we look at is you don't want to blow your load in November or even early December. I mean, it's one of those things. We're going to get to Feast Week here in 2 weeks, and we're going to have basketball. I know my boy just
so ready.
Yeah. So we're going to have Feast Week. I'm going to look at my schedule. What do we got? 3 weeks from today?
I believe Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's like the week before Thanksgiving, week of. I think it's like the week of or something.
1,
like
2, 3 weeks. 3 weeks till Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you what, when we're sitting here on November 25th, that is the time that I fire. I don't sit it out because who the fuck can sit out college basketball?
Sitting out Feast Week. Come on.
Exactly. Well, no. I'm just saying college basketball in general until Feast Week. Yeah. I'm uniting it till then, but yeah. No, I think we're on very much the same page when it comes to college basketball. But you have to be realistic. This is not the time of the year where you need to feel like you have it, because you don't. It's 19-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids. Just that's my thing. Don't blow your wad on college basketball. Now, what you can blow your wad on, Stooley, college football, because we are deep into college football. We are now week 11, I believe, in college football.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, sir. Week 11 college football, week 10 NFL. Before we start getting into some of the Saturday games, I did want to kind of touch on Friday. We get kind of a cool appetizer. I texted you about this earlier. We've got 8 teams that are playing. It's Cal at Wake Forest, Iowa at UCLA, Rice at Memphis, New Mexico at San Diego State. Every single team across the board still bowl eligible.
Yep.
You're not going to run into games where teams are giving up. Half the team's already, 1 foot in the transfer portal. I don't usually advocate or bang for Friday night games. There's a few in there that I really, really like, and I have to ask your opinion on one of them because it is a little more local to us. Iowa laying 6 against UCLA after UCLA made a fucking statement against Nebraska, which your boy was on the wrong side of, and I hand up. I drank the Raiola Kool-Aid. I drank the defense of Nebraska's Kool-Aid. And I didn't even need them to be great. I needed them to be okay. And they were terrible. And they were terrible against this UCLA team who has not been great this year. But right now, Iowa laying 6. We both watched Wisconsin, Iowa last weekend. It wasn't pretty if you're a Badger fan. Now, if you got this early in the week at 4.5, God bless you. I know there are a few people that did. Shout out Colin Wilson. He did get it early. But, yeah, man, I'm interested to hear what you have to say for a Friday matchup.
This whole game boils down to UCLA's run defense. Is Caleb Johnson going to run rough shot all over him? Because if he is, this 6.5 is a joke. They'll win by 17 plus. I don't think Iowa's going to have as good of a chance running the ball. I mean, we've seen the defense for UCLA look pretty decent the last couple of weeks. I mean, 21 to Minnesota, granted it was a loss. I mean, 21, the Rutgers game, I'm not sure how they gave up 32. It was brutal. That was a brutal watch. But I mean, last week, 20 against Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska's got a great run defense. Raiola, that dude's kind of hit or miss. I've kind of been out on Raiola for a minute. Been fading him a little bit, but UCLA.
Well, yeah, when you act like such an obvious douchebag for the first, I mean, you say what you can say, but yeah,
he's feeling himself after that Colorado game and everything. I mean, and then they just got humbled by fucking Indiana, like a 50 lobster, whatever the hell they call it, 50 burger, something. They got housed.
Holy shit. Stewie, I don't want to cut you off.
Easiest. No, you're good.
Can we double back to college basketball for a second? Because I need to ask you if you remember something. This is one question. Do you remember Yale shaving points?
I faintly remember this.
So we talked about Feast Week. I'm so happy my boy brought this up. You just have to bring this up again. Yale had one player turn the ball over 6 times in the last minute and a half in a game where the number was hanging in the balance. And so this is a kind reminder. Shout out Nitty. Don't bet fucking Yale. They're a bunch of loser nerds that shave points. All right, back to college football. Thank you, Nitty. I was happy you brought that up.
They also lost all their good players, so
they did. They're also not a good team, so just don't bet them for that.
Yep. And they're
anyways, back to UCLA and Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, UCLA again. The whole thing comes down to a run defense. I don't think UCLA is gonna run away with this. Obviously, Iowa's defense is stupendous. But it all comes down to if they can contain Caleb Johnson. If they can't contain him, they're so cooked. Oh, thank you. I've got 2-3 words in my back pocket.
That's yeah, just keeping them in there. A few things I want to look at. So Iowa, Stooley, when you think Iowa totals, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
This year or overall?
Overall, I mean, the history's like you might know the answer this year.
Unders. This year they're going over.
This year, Iowa has gone over in 8 of 9 games, really, all 6 home games. This team is crazy. As the favorite,
is at UCLA though.
I know, but as the favorite, they're 8-0 to the over. This is a team 8-0 on the over as favorites.
Okay,
this is a team when they're favored, the points come, and you could tell Vegas adjusted. We're sitting here with an Iowa primetime total sitting 44.5. Look back. I don't know if you have this up at all. So Iowa, 44.5. The last 4 totals for Iowa, 40.5, 37.5, 39.5, 41.5. On the other side, 38.5, 42.5, 39. Am I crazy to think that Vegas has no idea what's going to happen in this game when it comes to a total, and we need to bet the over in an Iowa game? Iowa game?
No, it's crazy. But I mean, like you said, you look at these last couple scores: Iowa 42, Iowa 40. They only put up 20, but they gave up 32.
Wisconsin, which that's the only thing we have is defense.
Yep. Yeah, we have nothing. We don't have that. Iowa's put up 38 or more in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. They put up 40 in 4 of them. I mean, they can easily go over this total. Now, me saying they can contain Caleb Johnson doesn't mean this total is going to go under. Iowa just
No.
has found a way to do it. I mean, Caleb Johnson's probably going to have a decent day. I don't think UCLA holds him to like 80 yards or anything, but I mean,
No.
Iowa has shit to bet a few times. I mean, 20 to Iowa
Dude,
State,
Iowa's one of those
35.
teams right now. Iowa's sitting at 6-3. They're in the Big Ten, which has been uber competitive. They've got UCLA, who just knocked off basically Iowa's little brother. We'll call Nebraska Iowa's little brother. This is going to be an interesting game for a Friday night appetizer. But let's not spend too much time on Friday night.
But
Let's get to
the one problem is cross country. No, I guess not cross country. They're in the middle of it, but
yeah, it's cross country
them
enough. It's almost
time zone
1,000
too.
miles. So I mean,
That's the
definitely
one
worth noting. Let's talk Saturday slate. 3 games that Stooley, is college football losing its gas? Because we got
spoiled for like week 7, 8.
We did get spoiled like 3 weeks in a row. And when you have a lot of good, I heard it perfectly. When you got a lot of good teams, you got a lot of bad teams. Every now and again, that's going to cross. But more often than not, it's going to spread out, and we're going to have a lot of these. 3 games that I want to talk about. First one, Georgia at Ole Miss. This is a game I cannot pick a side. So I'm super interested to hear what you say. A lot of the sharper guys that I listen to, they like Ole Miss in the points. I kind of lean the other way.
Yep, I do too. Georgia only loses to fucking Alabama. I mean, let's just
I'm saying they don't lose to anybody else.
No, I think it'll be a tight game. I mean, Ole Miss defense #1 sacks per game. I mean, Carson Beck has not looked great, but they fucking find a way. Now, granted, Georgia, they pulled it out of their ass versus Florida. I mean, that was an ugly game all around. Florida had nobody playing quarterback, and they still kind of struggled with them until midway through the third, late third, somewhere around there. But now it's on the road, so I mean that'll be tough. Lane Kiffin, if you want a little angle, Lane Kiffin was Saban's assistant in Alabama. Maybe there's something there, but
him and Kirby worked together at Alabama. I mean, those boys don't like each other. I mean, and Lane will tell you himself.
Yeah, either one of these teams, if they have the chance to, they'll run it up. But you're going to get Georgia under a field goal. Granted, it's on the road, but he only loses to fucking Bama. That's just what it is. He's like 1-7 against them all time, something like that.
This is one of those common sense bets. It's like, all right, well, I've watched one of these teams play over the last 3 years. They play a certain way, all but for one time that I saw them play that way.
Yeah.
The other team, and the one time we saw them play, they played that way for one half. The second half, they fucking killed it. They almost, I mean, they not almost, they made that a game in the second half. They took the lead. But you look at Ole Miss, and don't get me wrong, your boy, this isn't a conductor hat. It's they hate to see a silly goose winning hat, but it's damn near, and your boy would be sitting Mark Andrews. Sorry. But your boy's sitting here being like, hey man, I love Lane, but this is a different beast. I've not seen anything out of a Lane Kiffin team that tells me that they are strong enough to beat a Bama or a Georgia. I
they blew that game in LSU.
Yeah,
they had that game wrapped up and they blew it.
They absolutely blew it. And you look at the Alabama game earlier in the season. It was a 41-34 game. I'm talking about the Georgia game. This is a game that was 2 separate halves. I'm going to talk about Navy here in a little bit, about how crazy first halves can be. But especially with college football, these are 18-year-old kids. You don't think the 18-year-old kid get down on himself a little bit harder after he gets his fucking teeth kicked in? He doesn't bounce back as quick as the NFL guy that's getting paid $16 million. I mean, this is the thing that we got to psychologically look at college football a little bit different than the pros. And dude, I don't know, man. I feel like they've had their number for over a decade. So yeah, I like Georgia. I'm happy we're on the same side, because now I feel way better about that shit.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of feels like they put that number there. It kind of just, people are like, well, why is this 2.5? We're getting
right, because they
trying to
statistically they can hang 2.5 and it's not going to hurt them that much. But the second that bitch moves to 3, as a Georgia bettor, I get nervous because that is a huge jump. And if it God forbid it got to 3.5. I don't even want to think about that life, but no. Let's talk. We got two more kind of regular, I guess, games before we start getting into the games that we actually bet. This is a ranked team against a non-ranked team, but it is a team that we've avoided talking about on this program all year because, let's be honest, we talked about them too much last year. Buddy, the Buffs are a real playoff contender.
Yes, they are.
Fear 6-2 at the 6-3 Texas Tech Red Raiders. They are laying 4 in this game. I am super excited to see how they respond on the road in a big spot. Some of the guys that I really respect what they like do as far as gambling goes. They love Texas Tech, and this one's gonna be tough. Bet percentage for the public 93, money percentage 93. So the public absolutely loves Colorado in this spot. I don't love him as much. Do you have a bet in this game at all?
No, but I mean, Texas Tech can just get sliced and diced through the air from Shador and Travis Hunter is the problem. I mean,
that's what I worry about.
They can do whatever they want. No, I for the most part, I just lay off Colorado games. It's always so fucking public. Everybody loves to back Dion and Shador and Travis Hunter.
You have the absolute softest number on both sides. No matter which way you bet, it is public influenced. There's no rhyme or reason why it's there. It's just, it bothers the ever living fuck out of me because I do feel like if Vegas wanted to price Colorado accordingly, we could make a lot of money on Colorado. But unfortunately, the public just loads on them.
Yeah. I mean, if this was a night game, I could maybe start to make a case for Texas Tech. Maybe. I mean, night football in Texas, let alone. This is, 3:00 game. Not saying it's going to get forgotten about, clearly. I mean, there's not a shit ton of 2:30, 3:00 games, but I just hate Colorado. It's just so public. That's the problem. Every side, just everybody loves to bet them. And the one time I faded them this year, fucking Baylor, Colorado. That
Dave Aranda got you.
Oh my God. Why are you playing besides why are you playing fucking man
coverage? That's payback for Dave Aranda. Sorry, Badger fans. No, and the big thing here is if it was at Texas Tech, I would be like, I don't like him with a field goal. This is at Jerry World.
Oh, it's okay.
It is at Jerry World. I wasn't sure if you knew that. Now, not a lot of people know that. Or wait. Oh, wait. This is the most. Your boy's been duped.
Uh-oh.
And now somebody has been added to the shit list.
Oh, fuck.
You're going to embarrass me on my own program, Texas Tech. You have a fucking stadium in Texas called the Jones AT&T Stadium.
What the hell?
Fuck out of here, you poser bitches at Texas Tech.
They just took the AT&T right after Jerry dropped
and they took Jerry's last name. What the fuck? And Jerry's he's an Arkansas guy. This isn't even something like this. Isn't Jerry's money? Jerry's an Arkansas guy. I've never felt so betrayed by college football.
Unreal.
That would throw me off. I think we need to unload on Colorado. Is what we got to do.
Yeah, spite bet now, Colorado.
Now this just turned into a complete spite bet. You're gonna make me look that stupid on my own show, you dumb motherfuckers. All right, let's move on.
We got the game
that is. Oh, go ahead.
With this -4 number, -4, -5. How often do these games land on that?
Very, very not often. So the number one number that anything inside a touchdown lands on is 3.5. So if you're somebody that is wanting 3.5, you wait. If you don't, bet it now and buy the half because that shit is going to move to 3.5 way before it moves to 2.5, just on statistics alone.
I mean, if you're going to bet Colorado, you might as well just alt it to like 5.5 or 6.
Yeah,
100%. Granted, if it does land on 5, 4, so be it. But but like you said,
I've gotten very facetious when it comes to college sports. Like you lay if a team's gonna win by 5, why won't they win by 7? And that's the thing that I feel. It's not the NFL. We're not kneeling it out when things make sense. Nothing makes sense. You got to play with the chaos. No, I agree. Anything else before we move on to Bama LSU?
No, I mean, I got maybe one or two other college football games I want to talk about, but this is one of
we'll
them
talk
too.
about those in a second. Before we talk about those, we'll go. You and I will ping pong our college football bets here in a second. Before we go, do you have action in the Alabama LSU game?
I don't yet, but I can tell you this: I'll be on LSU money line. They are 12-0. Yes. 12 or 13-0.
Yes.
Primetime night games.
Talk to him, Daddy. Talk to those fucking guys.
And Jalen Milroe.
Bayou Bastards this weekend, baby.
Yep.
Bayou Bastards.
Yeah.
I took the plus three. I took the plus three today.
Oh,
once
you got
I hit
three?
a field goal.
Okay.
Once I hit a field goal. Well, right now you can still get I see +3. Where is this line? You know what? I shouldn't even line shop. I feel bad for both of us. We can't do that anyways. Let's live with it at 2.5. But Stewie, why is LSU multiple point dogs? What has Alabama showed us outside of a game? Again, we talked about it. They look great in the first half against Georgia. We can't just forget the second half.
Yeah, no, if they didn't score, what did they score? Like 40 or something, 30 something, upper 30s in that first half.
41-34 was the final, and I think that all happened at the very end of the game. So I think they scored 30 points in the first half.
Yeah. Now, if they scored 27, they fucking lost that game. They happened to get 30. LSU, Death Valley at night, just autoplay. Like, and Bama's getting respect because their name is Bama. What happened when they went to Tennessee? In the
Bayou. I mean, brother.
Weird shit happens at night. I mean, bring back.
I talked to my coworker who's a Falcons fan, and he was talking about voodoo magic. I said, it's Saints weekend, brother. And we'll get to that. But in the Bayou, things at night, brother, they get weird.
Yep. If this was an 11 a.m., 2 o'clock game, Bama. 6 o'clock at night, Death Valley. That place is going to be so fucking drunk, so goddamn loud. And there's a live tiger on the sideline this week. They have a live fucking tiger. LSU by 1 million. I may multiple unit this game. I may. I'm generally a 1 unit, just that's straight for everything. I may add a little extra on this. Add to the juice. Go to the bar, get hammed up, and cheer with LSU fans.
Hometown bar, aka $2 bar.
You know it. I mean, I walk in, get a beer, I get the remote. It's perfect.
Yeah, big shout out to Stooley. Was it last weekend or 2 weeks ago?
I didn't go out last week, so 2 weeks ago.
I look at my Snapchat, I got a pregnant wife at home. Big shout out to me. I haven't announced that on stream yet, but
congrats again.
Thank you, brother. But anyways, I'm sitting here living vicariously through my boy Stooley's Snapchat, and all of a sudden I see this guy sitting with like 4 TVs in front of him, remote in hand, at a bar at like 11:30 at night.
Yep.
That is living, folks. That is exactly how you live. But no, let's wrap up on the big games. Stooley, let's ping pong bets that we like. I have 3 that I want to roll with. What do you have? You start us off.
I'm looking at, one I should probably have checked. Bryson Daly's back for Army. We saw what Army did without him last week, and it was terrible. So bad. Now, North Texas is a very good offensive team. I mean, they can fucking sling that motherfucker and move up and down.
Big shout out to people at Denton. I visited your Buc-ee's last weekend. It was lit.
Ooh, Buc-ee's, yes. I mean, I don't know if they'll try to compete with Quick Trip, but I wouldn't mind a little
buddy
Buc-ee's around here somewhere.
There's no now hold on, let me look around, make sure there's no bugs in this room. Buddy, Buc-ee's shits on Quick Trip. Now, yes. Nobody clip this.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I went to a Buc-ee's one time in Texas. Fucking A, dude. Fucking A, dude. They're so awesome. All right. And there's the Montana State cover over Wisconsin. Wisconsin should not be laying 17 fucking
What was
points.
the total? What did the total end up?
67-79. So
wait.
That's 146 points.
Yeah, 144.5, bitch.
Let's go. Let's
Live
go.
winners on the
Bang,
on the
bang,
program,
bang.
folks.
2-0. 2-0. If I get 2 more points out of SMU, cash my 2-unit team total banger. That's another thing. We're right back to college football. If you get an Alabama or SMU, a team that loves to run it and gun it, that's going to force these HBCU and MAAC teams to run and gun with them.
100%.
Long
They
rebounds.
play to the
routes.
level of they don't play to the level. They play to the style of their competition early on in the season.
Yep. So team total is always a good look there because you never want to trust them to actually score 55, 60 points. Do they do it half the time? Yes, but you never want to put faith in those guys against these top tier teams. But regardless, Army. If Bryson Daly's back, I kind of love it because it wasn't an injury. He was just sick, I believe. I'd have to double check. I'm pretty positive he was just sick. He had some bug or something. Army 36, allowing less than 200 yards a game passing, 199.7. North Texas loves to sling it. I'm sure they're going to have more success than that. But if we look at the rushing defense, yards a game, North Texas, 193 yards allowed on the ground. They just gave up 297 last week and 224 average the last 3. If you're going to give Army 300 fucking yards, they're going to punish you all goddamn game, wear you down, and you are going to be beat up. And that defense isn't a joke for Army either. They're solid. I mean, I've been riding Army all fucking year. They're a wagon. They're laying 4 right now, which is kind of an odd line. I know they're on the road, so I got to check into this Bryson Daly news. But if he's healthy, I will probably lay the 2.5 first half. They are one of the best first half scoring teams outside of last week, again, without Bryson Daly. And 4 full game. I mean, 64.5 is the total, implying a bunch of points. And I assume a lot of that's probably going to come from Army. I mean, their team total is juiced over 34.5. They just destroy you. They run it down your throat and they punish you every single play. They can bust the 80-yard run. Bryson Daly runs for 3 touchdowns a game, damn near 120 yards. Not to mention that backfield they got. It's just going to be a war. And Army is prepared for that. North Texas is not going to be. So it would be Army for me with the Bryson Daly news if he is in.
You're going to love what I have to say. I have a group chat of very well-connected college football guys. Yeah, Daly's playing, and he's like as 100% as he could be. So you're going to love
public
that.
Knowledge yet?
No,
I'm looking at an interview. It's saying his health is improving. We anticipate before the end of the week he's going to be able to practice.
So I've got a group of guys. I've got a group of guys. I mentioned it last week. SMU. I've got some ties in there. Same thing with Army. Yeah, he is great. They are fully planning on that being a full thing. Army is also on my card. So yes, I love Army this weekend. I am over the moon that you are also on Army. So yes, I would say for everybody listening, Army now, do it before the line moves because they are going to announce that he is in way better health later this week.
We could tie this into the other one. This is 4 also. If you want to lay -6, I'm seeing +120. That's the highest I can hold. -5.5, +110. So, I mean, if you wanted to get juicy full game with the news that the line's going to go up already anyway, get a fucking plus money number on it. I mean,
grab that number. And I'm happy you brought up Service Academy because, brother, my first bet is Navy. I like the midshipman laying 3 at USF. Brother, this is a simple college football formula. We are buying low on a team that I know is solid at their core, following a pair of losses, and we are pairing it with, we are selling high on a bad team that's won back-to-back against bad teams. Navy, they struggle heavily, like obviously, and this is not me saying something super very poetic. Guess what? Navy, a team that runs the ball a lot, struggles when they're losing. Well, in their last 2 games, they found themselves trailing 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Luckily, dude, USF, their offense stinks early on. They trailed both UAB and FAU. Even though they won the game, they were trailing at halftime each of the last 2 weeks. The Bulls, the Bulls allow over 150 yards on the ground. I think this is going to be bread and butter. You bring in the 4th best rushing team in the country, a team that knows nothing but rushing. I think this is an old school lean on them victory. I don't think they're going to win it by like 30. I think this is Navy by 10 to 15 points.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, that's absolutely perfect angle / system you got going on. I mean, Florida Atlantic's currently getting housed by ECU as we speak right now. UAB, we know how bad they are, and the fact that they beat them by only 10.
Right.
That's kind of also an indictment. So, I mean, I like it. I mean, you're only getting 3, like you said, ultimate buy low. I mean, if they come off that Notre Dame shit pumping, which hand up that game was a total trap.
Complete trap. And it's a game that Notre Dame was not blowing them out early. It was a game that Notre Dame just had better players and were able to pull away late. It wasn't as big of a talent discrepancy as it looked. I think they had 50. I think Notre Dame hung 52 on a
61-14.
51. I mean, that's pretty unheard of. You only do that because you built that lead and got it late.
Yeah, and that strip sack fumble. I think they got
also no respect for the troops. No respect for the troops.
Yeah, you're going to hell. Catholics, my ass.
Hell in a handbag. Hell in a handbag.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that. I mean, maybe even a little Service Academy parlay if you want to get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Take a money line, maybe. Do that. But I'll take them spread -3
sure.
For Navy. I like that number. If it got to 3.5 and kept climbing, I'd probably alt it to a little bit, get some plus money. But
I agree. I like the number at 3. I don't love the number once you start moving, and it's like any football number. The second you get outside of 3, you're like, what the fuck is it outside of 3?
Yeah.
You start getting skeptic on yourself. Let's zip it back. I'm going to do, because I don't have a lot to talk about on this one. But I just want to mention, I do have a teaser going this weekend, full unit teaser for college football. I've actually got 1.2 on this. UConn down to a half at UAB. Not a big fan of what Trent Dilfer has going on down there. And then Vandy up to 10.5 against South Carolina. Selling very high on South Carolina, a team that I backed last week against Texas A&M. I think Vandy. Hey, say what you want. Their quarterback talks way too fucking much. His hero, Johnny Manziel. What the fuck do you expect? So was mine, and I'm sitting here talking about college football still. That no one cares. So no, none of us are in a good boat. But that's mine. UConn down to 0.5, Vandy up to 10.5. We don't need to get into that so much. I'm more interested to see what you got for college football.
Yeah, no, I actually like Vandy too. I mean, fading Vandy's just do that at your own peril. I mean, Poppy is a wagon.
Absolutely.
They damn near beat 10 at Texas. I mean, they were close. I mean, granted, they were down a little late.
Forget it. People will forget very late in the season. That was a 1-score game.
Yep. And I mean, let's not act like this is a sharp line. I mean, obviously the bookmakers are sharp, but they haven't priced Indiana right all year long.
We didn't even talk about our boys.
No, we're gonna get to it.
Yeah, we'll get
teams
there.
That they don't know how to price them. Iowa totals. There's things that they're not sure how to price.
Iowa totals, man. That's the number one maybe mispriced whole thing in the season.
Yep. So I mean, the fact that you're getting a plus dog with Vanderbilt at home after South Carolina, who they just beat? Texas A&M by 24.
Texas A&M, man.
Oklahoma on the road. I mean, Vanderbilt is just Vanderbilt. Like there's 2 teams Bama loses to. It's Georgia and Vanderbilt. Or never mind. Georgia. I got that mixed up. Disregard what I just said. But Vanderbilt is fucking awesome.
Oh my God.
What do we got?
Are you watching Thursday Night Football?
I'd be lying if I said I was.
Holy shit. Jamar Chase just got a ball. 3 guys around him. And just outran every single guy. I didn't know Lamar had grills in. That's crazy.
What's up with the grill? Why has everyone got grills in now?
Yeah, there's definitely one guy that's got the market on grills right now that is making an absolute killing. But yeah, Jamar Chase
Dang.
One. Hey, our boy Johnny Dang. Hey. But no, Jamar Chase just went crazy. I've got both teams over 24.5 in this game, so keep them points coming. But no, back to what we were talking about as far as college football. Yeah, we should probably move on. We've talked a lot of college sports. I knew the second that Lep was like, well, I'll probably leave after hockey. I got, dad stuff. I was like, All right, great. The folks are going to get me and Stooley talking about college basketball, and then we're going to talk about college football. Let's move along to the NFL because I know you weren't loving the NFL as
this
much.
Indiana game, real quick.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna talk
Sorry,
much,
we're talking
but
IU.
this
No. This is something we need to talk about.
is this a game where, like I said, IU is only, like I told you earlier, IU's won one game by 14 points. Otherwise, they've blown out everybody. Is Michigan really going to keep this team in check? I mean, Indiana's got a great defense too. I mean, if you don't want, Michigan's team total is under 17.5 minus 140. Indiana's juiced over 31.5. I kind of want to lay it here. This is a big game. This is a big game. How often is Indiana going to beat Michigan in football? Signetti.
The only thing I worry about, Michigan wasn't just beat last weekend as the defending national champion, and I'm sure you saw the video that came out today. The Dan Lanning Gladiator video. Did you see that?
What? No, I'll pull this up on Twitter.
So for those of you that haven't seen it yet, Dan Lanning earlier in the week told his team, which it's going to send shivers down my spine. He said, fellas, there's going to be a time that I call a timeout late in the fourth quarter, and I'm going to tell you to look, because he knew there they come. He knew his team was going to be up by so many points that he was going to call a late fourth quarter timeout, which they did to cover the spread. Big shout out. They did it, and he called the timeout. Out of 100,000 people that fit in that stadium, maybe 20,000 left. Brings his guys in, and he's just like, boys, look. And all the guys turn around and they see all the Michigan fans pouring out of their fucking home stadium because they're getting embarrassed. And then he calls a halfback dive to go win it by 20. It's like, dude, how do you not bet against Oregon is I don't like Dan Lanning a whole lot. I get it, but sometimes I think it's a little corny. I'm starting to believe
it is college athletics, though. It's for the kids.
You got to be a little corny.
Yep.
But dude, I'll tell you what, Oregon, they come to Madison in a few weeks. We almost bought tickets for that game. Thank God my wife got pregnant, because that is going to be the biggest whiff of all time. Anything else
right now? Oregon. What's that?
Anything I was going to say, I can get out on college football?
No, that's it. Not laying with Indiana this week. Maybe I'll grab live, but feels like they over-adjusted because we've been getting 7-8s with it. Now it's up to 14.5.
Yeah, Stooley texted me. He's like, yo, the Indiana line. I knew exactly when he said, I was like, yeah, brother, we are not getting 7.5, 8. I think at the very end, we got 9. And then they're like, Vegas is like, we're off. We're a little more off. Ah, shit. Yeah, they did it again. And 2 touchdowns. Yep. But no, I think tell the folks what is on both of our radars next weekend, because that is the interesting one.
That is the game. That is going to be the game where IU upsets, if you could even call it that at this point, upsets Ohio State. Do we
call it an upset? One team's undefeated. The other team's got a loss.
What's the spread going to be? 5.5, you want to say? Maybe 7?
If I had to lay that line, is it at OSU?
Let me look. But that one is that's going to be a line solely based on it is it's 2 weeks away. They got Ohio State's got Purdue, Northwestern.
They're on a bye.
But it is in Ohio State. So actually, this isn't a look at
in this game. But the thing is, you're at the Horseshoe, but IU is not. Bloomington's not.
Signetti, they're not fucking worried. They'll play on they'll go to Jerry's World to play anybody. They don't care. They'll go to a high school field.
They'll go play at my old high school where the dude that took care of the field put weed killer instead of fertilizer one year on it. That's how much they'll play it. Shout out FPL. Shout out I forget the guy's name. Anyways, let's jump to NFL. We spent a lot of time on college sports. It's already over after 9 o'clock, but that's all right because I know my wife is asleep, and I know Stooley. How late are you?
Oh shit! I just pulled up the score.
I mean, are you saying 21-7?
Yeah. I just switched to my NFL.
Yeah.
team, so I was
Hey,
like, yeah, I'm
hey,
not sure.
10 minutes ago, brother. Don't worry about it. Let's talk NFL though, because I do want to talk a little NFL. I know it hasn't been as lovely as a season for you, but I do want to talk a little bit about storylines as we are carrying on a decent amount of people that are listening, and I'm sure they'd love to hear it. Saints fire Dennis Allen. That's an interesting one. That felt super overdue. I am, you know what? I'm going to, before I even get your take on it, I'm going to knock out one of the games that we were going to talk about a little bit later. I don't think the Saints get the bounce back of getting their coach fired. I don't know if anybody's been on X lately. For everything that we think might be happening with the Saints, I think it's 10 times worse. We've got ex players, current players. I took the Falcons. I laid 3.5. Olave is out. He had no business playing last week. I don't know why you're going to hemorrhage maybe the best receiver. Hey, shout out Michael Thomas. Slant boy was great for a little bit. But since Joe Horn, I mean, this is the guy we're talking about popping up the pad, making a little phone call on a touchdown celebration. Joe Horn. I mean, it's been a minute. And they just sent him out there and he got his fucking head taken off by a quarterback who's notorious for getting his guys' heads taken off. I hate that so much as far as what we're going on. Dennis Allen, is that guy ever going to get a job again, Stooley?
Not as a head coach, ever. Maybe DC.
It has to be like there's some guys that were like, all right, well, he had a bad run, you know, he didn't have the guys he needed. New Orleans has a objectively good roster.
Yeah.
They were, better before Lattimore left, which will, what we call that
wild trade.
We call that a transition. Lattimore goes to Washington. Holy fucking shit. The Commanders are 180 of a flip of what we've seen in past years. That was nuts. We'll talk a little more Commanders lately. I just want to kind of buzz through the storylines this week because it was busy. This is one that hit home for both of us. Preston Smith does us a favor and requests a trade. $11 million cap hit going to 14 next year, brother. I love that trade. I don't care what we traded for, to be honest.
7th rounder, but I believe we got a $20 million.
I think it's a flexible pick, though.
Is it? I didn't look at the full
from
details.
What I've been told, there's some sort of flexibility in that pick. But it doesn't matter. Preston Smith's not going to hit any incentives. I mean, let's
down here for him.
Yeah, no shit. And let's keep it to guys that let's keep the Green Bay trend alive. Let me tell you, if you heard this one before, Stooley, Preston Smith is on, or not Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith is on the move again.
Didn't see that one coming.
Oh, crazy. Zadarius Smith moving again from Cleveland. The most malcontent human being. And when he came to Green Bay, the most hunky-dory, great guy that we could have ever asked for. Going crazy. 55 in the dreads. And he's ass. And he's been ass. And he continues to be ass. Obviously doesn't like anywhere he goes. Ugly. Last one that I'm super interested actually about because I don't know where the future of this franchise goes. We're going to talk about him here in a second. Chuba signed for $433.2 to stay in Carolina. That's a hell of a rip.
Money.
Well, and now I got to ask you because I'm going to transition it. This is our first game because it's getting played Germany. We're going to keep playing games overseas for whatever reason.
Here you go, Germany. Here's the Giants Panthers.
You're going to love my notes. I said, what has Germany ever done to deserve this? I don't understand what.
Yeah, what the fuck? Germany's been fine as long as I can remember.
Stand up human. They get Giants, Panthers with an MGK halftime show. What has Germany ever done to deserve this?
MGK's doing the halftime show?
Unfortunately. I like MGK too. But
He used to be pretty good.
I liked MGK for a while, but now it's getting weird. The biggest thing in this matchup, so I don't like either team either way or the total. This is a weekend that I'm going to sleep in. I'm up north. I do have to mention, I don't think I've told you about my Daniel Jones prize pick story from last weekend.
I have not heard about this yet. No.
So I decided on Sunday that I was going to do one prize pick, 150 to win 750. Both my legs hit. The last one, it was CeeDee Lamb targets, which in a game that Dak went down, hit by 1/2. But the one that killed me and the one that lost, Daniel Jones passing yards. How many yards did Daniel Jones have in the first half last week? Passing.
6. I remember that. I remember hearing about
0.
We had 0.
If he had 6, I won my fucking bet, Stooley. He's a fucking loser. No, I got absolutely destroyed by Daniel Jones last week. I don't have any sort of angle. I'll leave this one up to you. Right now, it is Giants laying 6.5, total 40.5. I hate this game.
I mean, Daniel Jones does play better away from home. That's just always the way it's been. But
it's a very good way to put it.
I mean, Panthers kind of they looked decent last week, I guess you could say. Now, granted, they played the fucking Saints, which you could maybe level
find out how much that means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe Bryce Young goes to a whole new country and it's like he's a brand new man. He could actually play a little bit, but I wouldn't want anything part of this. I mean, the under or nothing. I mean, this is going to be what a soccer field is, my guess.
Yeah. So they're no, yep, you're right. Well, I mean, what am I talking about? Where else are they going to play in Europe? No, a rugby field. No, yeah, I think this one's ugly. I do want to hear your opinion about this next game. We are going to do and we both have friends that are on this spectrum. The spectrum that I'm talking about is the Bear fan spectrum. The Bears are hosting the Patriots. They're laying 6. The Bears are 4-4. Stooley, I want you to say something nice about the Bears.
Their stadium's historic.
That wasn't about the Bears. It's about their stadium. Say something nice about the team, man.
Your color scheme is nice.
There it is. Shout out Appleton West, red and blues, or red and orange and blues. Yeah, no, we are on the exact same page. What the fuck are the Bears doing?
You see DJ Moore walk off middle of the play?
Yeah, dude. And cue the must-win talk for the Bears because you're 4-4 and arguably the toughest division in football on a conference that is exponentially more, tougher to play against than the AFC is. Right now, you're laying 6 at home, which is good, as you should be laying 6 at home against the Patriots.
Yeah.
You have a team that is not really sure what their identity is because they won a game, then they only lost a game by 2. The game before that, they only lost by they got their ass kicked against Jacksonville. But yeah, the Patriots feel weird, but you can't tell me that this doesn't mean something to the guys that believed in Drake May, the coaches that believed in Drake May, going against the number 1 draft pick. I think the livest dog of the weekend might be the Patriots because of how fucking miserable the Bears have been. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, the Bears are just a shit show right now. I mean, Eberflus is stupid.
Oh, you almost had to call my wife on you.
Eberflus is just dumb as hell.
Yeah, there it is.
Has come
Good
out
catch.
publicly and just they don't like him. I mean, he's got to go. I mean, DJ Moore, whoever walked off the field, middle of the play, they're just a disaster. Like they've just unraveled. The Patriots at least have looked feisty. Like their defense has looked a little better. They actually play like they kind of give a shit. After Mayo called them soft, they've looked better.
I think people gave Mayo heat for calling his own team soft.
Yeah.
I think we just watched it again, not to reference the election. You can call people soft and they'll respond pretty heavily.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think the Bears right now are who the fuck are this Chicago Bears team to be laying 6 against anybody? I don't care that you're at home. Yeah, no, I think I'm good. Need anything else on that Bears game?
No, Patriots playing cold weather too, so nothing there either.
Yeah, nothing new. What is the weather looking like? It's gonna be shitty up here on Sunday, isn't it? I've kind of heard
That'd be
that.
my guess. It's Chicago. Chicago.
Oh yeah,
Sunday
windy,
weather.
a little bit of rain, nothing crazy.
Yeah,
This
13,
is
16, 17 miles an hour at 2 o'clock or 4. So I mean it'll be gusty as hell.
oh, it's Chicago, baby. That's how she works.
Yep.
The Minnesota Vikings against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Vikings still 6-2. They are laying 7 in this game against the Jags. Interesting 2-week stint. I don't really know how to like equate Jaguars England games. It's still hard to like handicap it.
They're
But
home
when you
games,
look
bro.
at it's terrible. It completely threw the whole wrench in your process. But you look at the Vikings last week against Indianapolis, terrific game again. The defense bounced back after giving up 30 points the last 2 weeks against Detroit and LA. They hold Indianapolis to 13, under 300 passing yards, 66 rushing yards. The defense looked right back on pace. Jaguars, again, like I said, coming back from overseas, 2 games. Biggest question I have to ask, why the hell isn't your bye built in after you go to London for 2 weeks?
That makes no sense. NFL quote cares about player safety and all this other shit. You would think adjusting to time zones and flying across the country or ocean, they give them a week off. Maybe play a Thursday game over in London or some stupid shit, so you get 10 days at least.
And I'd love to say that this is something planned that was in my notes. I just literally picked this up looking at their last game was November 3rd. Like, what are we even doing?
Could not tell you. Just Goodell being Goodell.
Like, so they've gone bang, bang. This is 4 straight weeks now, post London. Nope. I'm not going to get into it. This is not a political show. Stooley, it's never been. Let's move along to maybe the most political team on the planet, the Washington Commanders. Shout out Washington, though. They have been sick. They're laying a field goal against the Steelers. So I want to talk about this a little bit. So Pittsburgh, I lean as a teaser piece, and I honestly might be down for an outright sprinkle. Washington, they are 5-0 against the spread at home. They've failed to cover in 1 game this year. Pittsburgh, 6-2 versus the number. I cancel that out. You could easily look at each team's last game against New York. Both wins, both covers. However, this is the one I like. Mike Tomlin, 13-4 straight up after the bye in his career. He's been outstanding. I think that they are going to have a very good spot here. I have not bet it yet. I think public perception is going to take over from, past trends because I don't think the public listens. I think this is going to be something that I get closer to 4. It's sitting at Commanders 3 at 105. So, yeah, I think this is something where I feel really good about waiting. But I really like the Steelers in this spot, which blows my mind because my buddy Sam is going to be so up my ass because I faded the Steelers all week. Did Lamar just score a touchdown? Oh, he didn't. Oh, I would have hated myself so much. Oh, I was going to take Lamar. It was plus 150. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns all year. That's Lamar, or not Lamar. That's Derrick Henry. Again, need both teams to score over 24.5. We're kind of there. No, what do you think about Steelers and Commanders, dude? This is sneaky. You look at the menu preseason, and you see the Steelers going to Washington in Week 10. Who would have thought the combined record was going to be 13-4, dude? What? Crazy. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this game.
Yeah, I mean, Tomlin is a dog. I mean, public perception is the Commanders are really fucking good, which they are. their offense has kind of been a little bit. I know last week, congratulations on beating up the Giants. Like, you scored 25, but Steelers got a real defense. The Bears held them, no touchdowns until a Hail Mary. This is a Steelers spot. I mean, it obviously looks like this line's going to move. So
historically,
I mean,
this is a game that you look at it, you bet the Steelers.
Yep,
because they are the
Steelers.
Will. And the problem that you and I know we have the same thing is we both think of the exact same thing. Do I want to bet Russell Wilson?
I fucking hate that guy, but
he's a we're Badger fan. No. You don't have to. No.
He's not a legend. He played 1 year.
Don't apologize. Fuck that guy. No. Interesting game. Obviously, like I said, very not what we expected. Going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's Steelers or nothing here. I mean, maybe a good under 45 and a half.
Don't
hate that under.
Don't hate the under in that one either. That feels like a game that could be a very industrial
2017, game. Something like that.
Love that.
Easily see that.
Next one, dude. I've got action. I've got the Bills laying 4 at the Colts. The Colts super unimpressive in primetime last week. 227 yards on 49 plays, 68 on the ground. Joe Flacco did not look like Joe Flacco. No. Defensively, they benefited from a couple of opportunistic turnovers at the end of the day. 300 yards through the air, 130 yards on the ground. That does not work. You're not going to win games playing that way. Buffalo, they failed to lay a touchdown against a Miami team that I think was probably a lot more healthy than we expected them to be and played a lot better than we expected them to be. This is a Miami team that overachieved. I'm not super worried about getting any sort of inability to get to the number. This is a team that's covered 3 straight, or that had covered 3 straight leading up into the Miami game. Yeah, I like the Bills. I'm laying 4 against the Colts. Joe Flacco. Are you going to talk me out of it?
No, I mean, granted, that was Flacco's worst game.
By far. They said since 2017, which is hilarious how long he's played.
It was bad. I mean, but Minnesota's defense is not a joke. I mean, passing wise, they're tied with San Francisco, most interceptions. They give
and I should have mentioned that. You're very right to mention that. You can't just take that on face value. This is a team that throws you multiple looks every time.
Brian Flores is damn good. I mean, it is what it is. He's better defensive coordinator than coach, which we found out.
A head coach because he signed the deal. But that's for another day.
There. Yeah. I mean, the Colts, what they lose by 8 last week? Was it 13-21, something like that?
13-21, lost by a touchdown.
Their biggest, that was their biggest loss of the year, 8 points. Prior to that, I believe it was 6 against Green Bay. They keep the games close. The defenses looked a lot better.
Dude, they're 7-2 against the spread. Like they've kept games within the number. Yep. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about how they looked differently last week to Flacco previous, Richardson giving him the tap. I'm telling you, we talked about the tap last week, brother. I'm going to talk about the tap every single week. I think the tap is going to ruin Indianapolis this season.
I don't know. I think Taylor could have a big game. Buffalo 4th in yards before contact allowed, 2.5. Perfect for Indy. I mean, Buffalo yards before or yards after contact, they're one of the better ones. But I mean, if you're going to allow Jonathan Taylor to get almost 3 yards every carry before you bring him down, he's going to drag you another yard or 2 minimum. I think Taylor has a big fucking game here. This might be a Taylor prop game, especially after how awful he was last week. Buffalo's just run defense is not good. I mean, we saw last week what the Dolphins did. I mean, they moved up and down the field on him.
It was basically, who would you like to get the first down? We'll just hand it off to him.
Yep, Jonathan.
I'm happy you brought that up, brother. There are some really, really, really sharp guys that they have big concerns about that rush defense, and they should, because it is not tight. If you were to point for as good of a team as Buffalo is, if you were to point at one thing, that is the one thing. And if you were to look at Indianapolis, there's one positive thing on that offense that you can point to, and it's an all-pro running back. So, no, I think Taylor props definitely have to be on people's radar this weekend. I'm actually interested to see what is that live line. Shit, I closed out of it already.
Man, I just lost Southern Indiana spread because fucking Bucknell missed a free throw to go to overtime.
Folks, the kids betting Southern Indiana and Bucknell. Tis the fucking season. This is my brother-in-law.
78.5 I see for Taylor.
Nice. See, I think that is the most bettable number of all props this weekend because, like you said, they're going to cut through it like butter. I think there's going to be an overreaction to play calling because of how poorly they moved the ball through the air last week. And I definitely see Jonathan Taylor being. I think I need you to text me that bet slip just so I know that I need to bet that one because I feel the exact same way. This next game, I have absolutely zero notes on because I bet the Broncos the complete wrong way last week. I thought they were going to catch 9. I thought they'd keep it tight. Dude, the Broncos barely showed up. Do you have anything in this matchup? I mean, this was, again, 41-10 against Baltimore last week. I thought they'd keep it within 9. The Chiefs, they did not cover for the second week in a row, laying 9. They did not cover against Vegas. They did not cover against Tampa. That's a weird couple of teams not to cover against.
I mean, the Chiefs are kind of like Colorado in college. Everyone loves to bet them no matter what. They're going to bet it. It's Patrick Mahomes. The thing is, their defense is really good. Baltimore's pass defense worse in the league.
Maybe the first time in his career, they're elite.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Like they've got a fucking defense. And
the switch they've flipped is ridiculous.
Oh, it literally, like, I remember like they'd have to win like 35-32 just to keep it going.
To sniff that.
They scored 20 points. They win by damn near a touchdown, it feels like, half the time. I mean, Denver played the worst pass defense in the league, got housed by 40 points last week. Now you're going to hit the road again and go to Kansas City with an actual defense. I don't see Denver having much success here, to be honest. I mean, and the fact that Mahomes got hurt, quote, hurt himself last week, maybe they go to a more run-focused offense, kind of killing time, giving Denver the ball less. I don't hate a Broncos team total under. It is 16.5, so if it would pop to 17.5, that I would like more. But I just don't see how Denver has much
line in pro football. Is there a ballsier team total line than 16.5 under?
No. When I look at these lines,
Julie, these guys get paid too. Come on, man. This is their job.
They get paid to play football.
They get paid
to play football. Until you get punched in the mouth by
until you get fucking punched in the mouth against a team that's exponentially better than they are. Yeah.
Yep. Way better defense. Total is 42. Like, that's a low total. Denver's defense is solid too. I mean, if I were to play this game, it would be Broncos team total under or the under 42 in the whole game. Because, I mean, if Mahomes really did hurt himself or tweak his whatever he got hurt, if maybe they just go more run focused, keep him in the pocket, no scrambling, extending plays, and keep the ball out of Broncos' hands. I mean, Bo Nix is solid, but this will be the best defense he's gone up against. I mean, he went up against the worst pass defense last week, didn't look phenomenal. Now you're going to go against one of the best passing defenses in the league. So, I mean, it's
it's simply a keep away situation if you're Denver. I mean, we watched. If you're Denver, you have to take the Wisconsin Badger football approach when you're going against a team that's a lot better than you. Keep the ball on the ground. You have a quarterback that, hey, man, I'll tell you what. I watched the Denver game last weekend. When Bo Nix takes off in the pocket, the kid's athletic. There's no doubt about it. He's not awkward. He's not like when he makes, like, he's very decisive. If he's going to go, he's not going to like do this rookie thing where he sits there and he's like, I should maybe scramble. I don't know if I'm going to scramble.
He'll just take off.
Yeah, he just takes the fuck off, which, for better or for worse, right? Because we're talking about a team that has lost a lot of games recently. He's decisive. And in the passing game, it's hurt him. In the running game, I think it really has helped him. And I do think it's a thing that could keep Denver within this number. But again, I was on the wrong side of the Chiefs last week, and I'm not a guy that's going to lose back-to-back.
The logic was there. The logic was there.
The logic is always there. That's what we talk about it with betting. Let's talk about a goofy one in the Bayou. Atlanta is laying 3.5 against the Saints. Jake is laying 3.5 against the Saints. Are you with me, brother?
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. All right. So my biggest
thing.
Who's
their wide receiver one? Mason Tipton. Fuck
Mason Tipton. And I don't care that Alvin Kamara is a great. Don't get me wrong, not good. Alvin Kamara is still great. He kind of like fell off. There was a lot of injury, and I'll say it. I think a lot of it was effort. I don't think he wanted to play for Spencer Rattler. I don't blame you. When you're a running back, you have X amount of fucking bullets in your clip, and you're gonna fucking spend them on Spencer Rattler. Are you fucking kidding me? Like seriously, it's hard enough to spend him on Derek Carr. Like,
am I gonna snap my ankle for fucking Spencer Rattler?
No. Yeah, no shit. And you look at this. I mean, Olave concussion, which Olave never should have been playing last weekend. Like, what are we doing? It just does not make sense. You look at everything else. Obviously, Shaheed's out with a knee. Miller's out with a hamstring. McKinstry on defense is out with a hamstring. I mean, this is a Saints team that is so banged up. Obviously, Drake London kind of like teetering on. Is he going to play? Is he going to not? I'll tell you what, man. Darnell Mooney, who got fucking shoved in Chicago to being kind of like a 2, maybe 3 receiver, that's a true number 2 receiver, in my opinion. Yeah. You saw the catch last week. That guy's got fucking skills beyond skills. I think you put him in the right situation, he can be very successful. And that's absolutely zero bias on the fact that he's on my fantasy team. Unbelievable that
no bias whatsoever.
No bias. So yeah, no, I'm laying 3.5 with the Falcons. Are you with me?
Yeah, I am. No chance of putting it on the Saints. They're so depleted. I know the coach bump can be a real thing, but it will not be in this one. The Saints.
Oh, I don't believe that. After watching the Jets, I tried to bet that with the Jets. I think
I bet it with the Jets too.
When things are so bad to the point where ex-players and current players are both tweeting about the situation. That hurt. But I just think when you're at a certain level, and the Jets have found that level, and the Falcons, I think this weekend, or the Saints rather, are going to find that level. Dysfunction is dysfunction, and I think 3.5 is a ridiculous line for a Falcons team that has won 5 straight games, or sorry, not 5, 4 out of the last 5. They've also covered 4 out of their last 5, and they're covering spreads 3, 1.5, 3, 2.5. Like, what are we even talking about here? This is a team that is built to win games by a little bit more than a field goal. And it's also a team that, outside, like I said, of Drake London, very healthy. So I like the Falcons in that spot. Interesting game next. A game that's kind of gone under the radar. I don't love where I got my number because I think I got a bad number. 49ers and Bucks.
McCaffrey back.
Stooley, I'm going to let you take this one off. What do you think? She said?
What's it? No, my phone was ringing. My bad.
Oh, I thought you said Kaepernick. I was like, excuse
me. Did I
you?
say Kaepernick? I meant McCaffrey.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I did say
you saying swear words in my house?
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. He's unfortunately our daddy. That's what sucks.
Yeah, the Niners are 4 of our last 9 playoff heartbreaks would come to the.
I didn't need to hear that, but thanks.
My bad. I just saw it today. Somebody
said,
"Oh
my God, is that a fucking touchdown for the Ravens?" If that's a touchdown for the Ravens, that was one of the craziest, most nonchalant touchdowns. All right, never mind. Let's run it back. 49ers Bucks.
Yeah. McCaffrey's back. So that'll be huge.
Now,
they need it more than ever.
Now I want to give you a bet on this podcast. Now, I'm not going to give you any money, but I do have I've been asking a lot of my buddies that watch a lot of football this. Over, under, not carries, touches. 12.5. You're playing the Buccaneers.
I'd have to say over. I mean, they get him back. I mean, they get him back. I believe he's healthy.
And as I've told every single one of my friends, if you think it's over, I think you lay the 6.5.
Yeah, 100%.
This feels because of having Godwin and Evans out, I think that's a 6.5. Now, you guys ready to hear about some fuck shit? I'm not 6.5. I'm actually taking the points because I don't think he's going to play. From the things that I've heard, Gino, shout out my boy. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to dress. I think he's going to dress and maybe get a care. The Ravens just missed an extra point. Holy shit, Justin Tucker is washed.
Dude, what happened to that guy?
They are down now 21-20. What?
What happened to him?
Oh, that is brutal. Anyways, I have Tampa Bay plus 6.5. This is a team for all the wrong reasons that I like, because I like Mike Evans. I like Chris Godwin. Guess what? Neither of them are playing.
They're both dead.
Very dead. But what I don't believe in is San Francisco not at full strength. I think that San Francisco is a very broken team. It's a very heavy contrarian play. This line opened at 7, came down to 5. It's settling closer to 6. The Niners aren't really good straight up with Shanahan after a bye. They won 4 or 5, but they're 4-5 against the spread in his career. They're not nearly as good as you'd think out of a bye for a team that has so many players that, Kittle relies on injury promise. CMC obviously recently relies on injury promise. Debo, a guy that relies on being healthy. Obviously, all these things are things that should be exponentially better coming out of a bye, and it's just not. So I'm taking the contrarian play. I'm taking the Bucks 5.5. You're going to get it 6 now if you want it. I don't love it, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would really want to lay it with the Niners. They've just kind of been so hit or miss. I mean, and Baker, even with nobody, Cade Otton can keep them in games. Rashad White's been solid.
Dude, shout out Cade Otton. Holy shit.
He's a fucking beast, dude. What are his receptions at? Just feed it to me.
Cade Otton might be the most answering the bell.
5.5.
Oh,
you shitting me?
Stooley.
Dude,
I don't want to tell you to bet the mortgage, but I might tell you to bet the mortgage.
His yards are 56.5.
I'd rather take the receptions.
Who is San Francisco? Let me see.
I'd take the receptions because of their safeties and the way that they roll down. That's why the Packers don't play well against San Francisco, is they haven't had a guy to really stretch them out. That's why with Watson last year, they had a few deep plays that worked, but San Francisco, they can play guys that are not elite over the top. But all right, let's talk.
Hold on. Tight ends versus the Niners last 4 weeks.
Ooh.
6 catches, 8 catches, 7 catches, 8 catches. And then before that was Patriots, Rams, Vikings, Jets. Nobody.
Somebody get this kid a fucking
38 targets and how many? 14, 21, 29 catches. 38 targets, 29 catches.
This is why we do it, folks. This is why we've gone for almost 2 hours, because the boys are diving right now. So we are looking at Cade Otton receptions at over, I believe you said 5.5. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's minus 150, but I mean,
I don't care. What's a little juice when you know you've got a winner?
Yeah. Who else is he throwing the ball to?
Seriously, it's funny. I hate to say it. The Action Network, their number one thing today. Why is Cade Otton dominating as wide receiver 1?
I have no fucking clue. This is out
It
of
makes
left
no
field
sense.
as to why.
This is just another
I
white
couldn't
boy
tell
from
you.
the plains. This is just another white boy from the plains. This is our guy.
Crazy. I couldn't
Can't
think of
hate
a
him.
single reason why he's getting a ton of targets right now.
Hey.
I could not think of one.
We call that fellas connecting. Let's move it on. We have only a few more games. This is oh shit, I missed it. Titans Chargers. Titans, I had to say 1-7 against the spread. They've gone under in 6 of 8. This is the definition of yuck. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this game.
Under or nothing. Or
there we go. All right, perfect. Yep. Nope. We're on the same page. Under or nothing, Titans, Chargers. Let's move along to a game that I know we're going to probably spend way too much time on because emotionally we both feel a certain way. Jets at Cardinals. The Jets laying 1.5 at the Cards. Who the fuck are the New York Jets to be laying anything?
They won a game. Now they can go back to being favorites.
Fuck that they won a game, man.
Cardinals money line.
Cardinals money line. Thank you.
Cardinals are rolling right now.
Cardinals look great. 20.
I may or may not have Gannon 18-1 coach of the year and Murray 50-1 MVP. The Murray bet is dead, but Gannon coach of the year.
Gannon coach of the year is not a bad one, man.
If they somehow win this fucking division, how does he not win?
And the Jets got lucky. They found Houston with a team that all their guys were hurt. Short week. They did not know what to do. So they knew offensively. They had them from the get-go. And they still could only score 21 points. This is not a good offense.
Nope.
No, I'm with you, man. It's Cardinals this weekend. Let's move up. Eagles at Cowboys. I have one note in this game. Dak's hamstring tore off the bone.
Oh.
That is not good. I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of feel for Cowboys fans, and I feel for Big Mike. Nope. I take it back. I don't feel for Cowboys fans. I feel for Big Mike. Big Mike had a terrific opportunity to go down there, and guys are getting hurt left and right. His offensive coordinator leaves, which we've always known Mike McCarthy cannot coordinate an offense once his guy leaves. They are a touchdown and a hook underdogs. And I think it's Cooper Rush. How do you not bet the Eagles?
It's the Eagles smash. I mean,
it's the Eagles, and you smash the fuck out of it. Cooper Rush, we've seen Cooper Rush like way more than we should have ever seen Cooper Rush. We know what we have. The Eagles are playing for something because it'd be a whole lot different if the Eagles were like 9-1 and the Commanders were like, 5-5. Not the case. Not the case. You have the Commanders and you also only have one bye. So this game means a ton. And let's be honest, the Eagles want to embarrass the Cowboys.
And especially in Jerry's world, they
just want to be Jerry's world. Yeah. I think I lay the points with the Eagles.
Everything too.
Dude, that Saquon hurl last weekend, I thought I was watching.
Ridiculous.
I mean, that's black magic. No, we're both laying the points with the Eagles. Let's talk Sunday night, Monday night. Maybe the best Sunday night, Monday night, like back-to-back matchup that we've had this year. Because I'll tell you what, these primetime games suck cock. Lions, Texans. We watched the Lions last weekend. They were outstanding, laying 3.5 on the road against, again, a Texans team. Super banged up. Bro, I
think Nico Collins is back though, but still he's off a hamstring injury. So,
and if it was anything but a hamstring, I'd feel so much better. I take the Lions. I lean the Lions. I do not take the Lions.
No, I mean,
is this an overplay at 48.5 though? With the amount of overreaction we've seen from the over this weekend, we've got 53.5 point totals. I mean, tonight was 53.5. Like,
I lean Lions -3.5. I'd like that over actually more now that you bring it up. I mean, it's Jared's back in the dome. That Texans defense is all right, nothing special. I mean,
they're not great.
Lions are going to kill him. Jameson Williams is back too.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect weekend. The last 5 games to get the Texans, it's been between 20 to 25 points. The defense has been bend don't break. It's been okay. The offense has still been going well, even with guys out. I mean, you look at it.
Yeah.
Last week against the Jets, 13 points, but averaging almost 30 points in the last 4 beyond that. So last one I want to talk about for the weekend, because I gotta rip a piss like a motherfucker. Rams are hosting the Dolphins. The Dolphins 2-6. Rams are laying 1. Yeah, dude, I like the Rams. I don't know about you. I like the Rams here all day long.
Rams have been very, very, very fucking good.
I mean, you got a team that's lost 3 against a team that's won 3.
Yep. I mean, A-Chain. Well, I saw this fact. A-Chain has gotten like 20 plus or like 23 plus fantasy points every game with Tua back.
No shit.
Feels like it just. How do you just like not keep riding the A-Chain train? I mean, his receiving yards are at 42.5 now, so that's kind of juiced up. 5.5 are his receptions. Oh man. Okay, well, I don't really
feed him, man.
like those. Yeah, they do. What are his rush and receiving yards? They don't have those listed up.
I don't think combos are out.
54.5. I mean, the Lions are giving up, or Rams are giving up 109 yards a game on average. But lately 91, 58, 105 to the Raiders, 97 to the Packers. And the first 4 weeks, they just got blitzed, 119 plus in 3 out of the 4, 96 in the other. So, I mean, their defense has stepped up a little bit. It's been better.
It absolutely has.
Fading the Rams is nuts right now. They've looked really, really fucking good.
This is a team that I completely wrote off. Like, completely. And they've won 3 straight. They did against Vegas. I was like, okay, great, you did against Vegas. And then it was Minnesota on primetime. And then you did at Seattle, like a rivalry team in overtime, laying only 2. Yeah, man. Well, all right. I'm going to cut this stream off, man. I appreciate the fuck out of you for hanging out here till 10 o'clock.
Oh, dude, not a problem.
Treating this like a real single guy. Appreciate that. I can hear my wife bounding around upstairs every time I get to this point. She starts making very loud footsteps, and that's not because she's pregnant. Shout out everybody for listening, tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Shout out Leppy for getting with us. Shout out Murphy for not getting arrested crossing state lines with pot. Always a big, big, big W for the boys. Stooley, thank you, brother. It's
not a problem, man. Anytime.
And I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Take it easy.
Take it easy.